Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Good evening. We're calling this meeting to order. Thank you. Ms. City Attorney, are there any reports from closed session?
There are no reports tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And Sergeant Rick Morton, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Sergeant. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Ayala,
Here.
Councilmember Rhodes,
Here.
Councilmember Judge,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster,
Here.
Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here. Are there any items for agenda review?
Madam Mayor, we have one supplemental on agenda item 5A, annual position vacancy report.
Thank you.
I move that all resolutions and ordinances presented tonight be read in title only and all further reading be waived.
Second.
Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. If any member of the City Council may have a conflict of interest or any reason why that member must abstain from consideration of any matter on this agenda, he or she should so declare at this time. Seeing none, we're free to move on, Madam Clerk.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, the first item on the agenda is item 1D1, presentation of a proclamation declaring May 3 to May 9th as Small Business Week. And Assistant to the City Manager, Angel Sierra, is here to present this item. And accepting the proclamation is Kathy Van Eaton from Simi Valley Chamber of Commerce, President, CEO.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. And Kathy, thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, we're pleased to present a proclamation recognizing May 3rd through May 9th, 2026 as Small Business Week in the city of Simi Valley. For more than 60 years, National Small Business Week has been celebrated across the country to honor the vital role small businesses play in driving economic growth and innovation. Small businesses represent approximately 99% of all businesses nationwide, create 2 out of 3 new jobs, and employ nearly half of the American workforce. Here in Simi Valley, small businesses are the backbone of our local economy. The city is home to more than 5,500 registered businesses, many of which are small businesses that provide jobs for our residents, contribute to the city's economic vitality, and help define the character of our community. From neighborhood retailers and restaurants to professional services and entrepreneurs, these businesses play a critical role in making Simi Valley a great place to live, work, and do business. The City of Simi Valley remains committed to supporting a strong and resilient small business community through policies, programs, and partnerships that encourage business growth and long-term success. For these reasons, the City Council of the City of Simi Valley proclaimed May 3rd to May 9th, 2026 as Small Business Week in recognition and appreciation of the contributions made by small businesses in this community presented this 4th day of May, 2026, and encourages residents, businesses, and community organizations to recognize and support small businesses throughout the week and beyond.
Thank you. And it's only appropriate that our chamber CEO accepts this, so thank you very much. And it's perfect timing right after the street fair. Yes. How did that go? It was wonderful when I was there. You want us to talk about it?
Yeah, the street fair, will be 50 years old in 2027, so we've been doing this a long time, but this last weekend, it was pretty incredible. We had a lot of businesses out there, a lot of people. Who all was there? Thank you for being there. We really appreciate it. It really is a boost for our small business, and we're just so grateful to be able to accept this on behalf of our small businesses in Simi Valley. They are the heartbeat of our community, and they do support a lot of causes and jobs, just like the proclamation stated, so we're very honored to accept this.
And if you were there, you would have heard for the first time the Dee Dee and Kathy show on 99.1 The Ranch. So we did a pretty good job. Yeah. Brad said we did good. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy, again.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D2, presentation of a proclamation declaring the month of May 2026 as Older Americans Month. And Acting Management Assistant Candace Gray is here to present this item. And accepting the proclamation is Janice Del Santo, Council on Aging Chair.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. This evening, I would like, as we can see, we've invited Simi Valley Council on Aging Executive Board Chair Janice Del Santo to accept this proclamation, to accept the proclamation designating May as Older Americans Month. The City of Simi Valley recognizes the valuable contributions of its growing population of older adults who enhance the community through work, volunteerism, and civic engagement. With over 20,000 residents aged 65 and older, the city is committed to supporting seniors, their families, and caregivers by promoting well-being, financial stability, and the ability to age in place. Efforts include providing home and community-based services, addressing food insecurity, and ensuring access to essential resources. The City of Simi Valley is proud to recognize May 2026 as Older Americans Month. This year's national theme, Champion Your Health, emphasizes prevention, wellness, and personal responsibility as key components of healthy aging. It encourages older adults to take an active role in managing their health, advocating for themselves, accessing preventative care, and making informed decisions that support independence. Older adults in our city continue to lead, inspire, and engage in practices that support healthy, active, and independent aging. Through their contributions in the workplace, in volunteer roles, and within their families, they set an example for future generations and strengthen our community. It is with deep respect and gratitude that we proclaim May 2026 as Older Americans Month in Simi Valley, presented this 4th day of May 2026.
Thank you. We are so lucky to have such a strong organization and senior help and assistance here. The Council on Aging, our wonderful senior center, and every other group, Meals on Wheels. We're just so lucky that they help and take care of all of our community members. And all of you help donate to them too and support them. So I think it's great. And thank you for all you do on our Council on Aging. We really appreciate it. Would you like to say anything?
I just want to take a moment to thank our great staff at the Senior Center, our Council on Aging, and all of the amazing senior volunteers who make all of the programs at our Senior Center happen. If you haven't been to the Senior Center here in Simi Valley, we have a really vital community over there, and we welcome you to come over and take a tour and see all the activities that we have going on there.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. Thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D3, presentation of a proclamation declaring May 2026 as Water Safety Month. And Management Analyst Kristen Miller is here to present this item. And accepting the proclamation is Rancho Simi Recreation and Park Board Chair Brian Dennert and Recreation Coordinator for Aquatics Aaron Pierrick.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. I am pleased to recognize Water Safety Month in the city of Simi Valley. Swimming and aquatic activities benefit people of all ages, but water safety education is vital to prevent drowning and injuries. The California Department of Public Health reports that nearly 4,300 Californians drowned from 2016 to 2023, with many others needing rescue and medical help. Water safety is a shared responsibility that includes supervision, installing barriers, learning to swim, and knowing emergency responses. We would like to take this opportunity to recognize the City of Simi Valley, the Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District, and community partners for their efforts to raise awareness of water safety. Therefore, May 2026 is hereby proclaimed Water Safety Month in the City of Simi Valley, presented this 4th day of May, to encourage all community members to learn and practice water safety to help prevent drowning and water-related injuries.
Thank you. Do you want to hold this, Aaron? Chair Dennert, you would like to say a few words?
I'll keep it short, but we want to share that the California Children's Outdoor Bill of Rights say if kids do the following things by the time they hit high school, things like play in a safe place, thank you police officers and park rangers, explore nature, go fishing, the fishing derby is this Saturday, go camping, and of course, learn to swim. They'll be mentally and physically stronger when they're adults. And speaking of swimming, it really raises the tide for everyone. This summer at the pool, it's where all the cool kids are gonna hang out, literally. This is just not working. This is not working. I guess more seriously, I wanna thank our aquatics manager, Aaron Pierrick, for being here with me tonight, and everybody that works together as a team to support us. And if you have any tough questions at the end, I'm sure Aaron will be able to answer them for you. Okay, but more seriously, the thanks that we want to give is Simi Adventist Health, the Ventura County Fire Department, and of course our own city, including for the grant that you helped us to get that paid for a lot of the improvements to the pool area. And just a little bit about the pool. Last summer was 2,000 lessons that they did, 2,000 swim lessons, and it's easily preventable, as you mentioned. 88% decrease just by doing formal swim lessons. So come out to the pool and have a good time. We're gonna be back. We have events coming up. I have activity guides. I'll be in the back, including our Splash-tacular events coming up. So see me for a trail guide or activity guide.
Thank you so much. Our Parks and Rec is one of the best in the nation. I'll say that because I used to sit on the board too. But they really are great. If you look at everything that we offer, and the new headquarters and the new things that are going on there are just awesome too. So just want to thank the Rancho Simi Recreation and Park District for being such a great partner. We really appreciate that.
We can't do it alone.
Yeah, exactly. We're a team all together. So thank you all very much. And water safety is so important. I have a pool and grandkids, so yes, they've taken their swimming lessons at the pool. So so thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Oh, picture. Oh, yeah. I like that. He said he's going to point out the back is green and gold. Go Highlanders.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D4, presentation of a proclamation declaring May 7, 2026 as Day of Prayer, and Management Analyst Kristen Miller is presenting this item as well. And accepting the proclamation is Pastor Clifton Clark, New Beginnings Church.
I knew you looked familiar. I've met you before.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. I have the honor of recognizing May 7th, 2026 as a day of prayer in the city of Simi Valley. Established in 1952 by Congress and signed into law by President Harry S. Truman, in 1988, President Ronald Reagan designated the observance on the first Thursday of May, creating a day dedicated to reflection and unity. On this day, the Simi Valley faith community comes together in prayer for the well-being of our community, which includes city leaders, school board members, local businesses, schools, and residents, while also encouraging collaboration among churches and faith-based nonprofit organizations as a resource for the city. May 7th, 2026 is hereby proclaimed a day of prayer in the city of Simi Valley, presented on this 4th day of May, offering all residents an opportunity to give thanks and recognize those who serve the community and observe the day in ways meaningful to its significance.
Thank you so much. Our faith-based community here is so awesome. They do so much for us. So I just want to thank you, your church, and every other synagogue, church, temple for all the help that they give to our community overall. And I'm so happy you're able to accept this for the day of prayer. Would you like to say something?
Sure. Are you well, indeed, yes. Don't give me the mic. But are you aware that it's its 75th year of the National Day of Prayer? And it's particularly important because often people think about the National Day of Prayer as a particular spiritual, ethereal act. But it's really an embodied act because people from all over the city, particularly pastors and leaders, come together not just to pray, but as a sign of physical solidarity. So I'm going to invite you all to come out, particularly on the 250th year of the birth of our nation. Come out and support. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you again. God bless you.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 1D5, presentation of a proclamation declaring May 15, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day. And Police Chief Short is presenting this item, and accepting the proclamation is Sergeant Rick Morton.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. Today we pause to honor the brave men and women in law enforcement who serve our communities with courage and dedication, often at personal risk. The City of Simi Valley has issued a proclamation declaring May 15th, 2026 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and Sergeant Rick Morton will accept it on behalf of the department. Sergeant Morton began his law enforcement career with the Los Angeles Police Department before joining the Simi Valley Police Department in 1996. He served in patrol, became a K-9 officer in 1998, working with his K-9 partner Rex, and was a detective in the Special Investigations Unit. In 2006, Rick was promoted to senior officer and then to sergeant in 2022. He now supervises the Detective Bureau's Major Crimes Unit and is the department's public information officer. Rick also served as a range master, honor guard member, SWAT team member, and the team leader, and was on the FBI Joint Terrorist Task Force. He also contributes as part of the Recruiting Resource Group and was part of the Recognition Committee. Rick continues to have a lasting impact on the department and the community. Excuse me. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, a day set aside to remember those who have been disabled or made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. It is a solemn reminder of the cost of public safety and a time to show support for those who continue to wear the badge. For our community, we remember Officer Michael Clark, who made the ultimate sacrifice on August 4th, 1995. His service and the service of so many others like him will never be forgotten. As we recognize Peace Officers Memorial Day in the city of Simi Valley, we invite all residents to reflect on the dedication of these officers and to honor their sacrifices. Flags at city facilities will be flown at half-staff in their memory as a visible symbol of our gratitude and respect. Thank you.
Thank you. For you. This is coming from a law enforcement family. It means a little bit more. I've been to the National the National Memorial in Washington, D.C., penciled in the name. So it's just really important. I'm so glad you're here to see it, or to accept this for us. And thank you, Chief. And he forgot to say he's also a great softball coach. Right? So would you like to say anything?
I'm just going to say I'm honored to accept this on behalf of the men and women in law enforcement. As the chief said, we want to honor Michael Clark's memory. So I accept this on his behalf so that we can continue his legacy and remember his honor.
Very good. Thank you so much, Sergeant. Picture.
Madam Mayor, if I could request the City Council join me in having the City Manager illuminate our Civic Center sign in blue lights from May 11th until May 15th, Police Memorial Day.
I'll second that. Thank you, Councilmember Judge.
No problem.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 2, public statements on appointments, special presentations, and informational reports. We have no speakers for this item this evening. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 3A1, selection of one City Council member to serve on the interview and nomination panel for returning youth council members. And Community Services Coordinator Ryan Fowler is here to present this item.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The Youth Council is comprised of 21 members and 3 alternates in grades 7 through 12 who advise the City Council on issues of concern to local youth. The next regular term of appointments is scheduled to commence on July 1st, 2026. Up to 9 of the current 24 Youth Council members may be selected for reappointment. 18 current Youth Council members are eligible for reappointment. Therefore, it is estimated that approximately 2.5 hours will be needed to conduct the interviews. Councilmember Judge most recently served on the interview and nomination panel in May of 2025. Interviews are tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, May 26 at 4 p.m. It is recommended that the City Council select one City Council member to serve on the interview and nomination panel for prospective returning Youth Council members to fill up to 9 positions on the Youth Council. The panel will also include the Youth Council Coordinator, that's me, and up to 2 non-returning Youth Council members. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Mayor Pro Tem Litzer.
Thank you. And this is, I can tell, will be a very difficult job because we're talking half of those eligible would be selected possibly. The date that you've tentatively selected, May 26th, Councilmember Rhodes and I are already scheduled to be doing interviews for neighborhood council. And I understand that it's a lot of moving parts, but my suggestion is possibly either Councilmember Ayala, I realize Councilmember Judge did it last year, maybe the mayor would like to do it, but maybe one of the 3 would, if there's one that would like to volunteer.
I'll nominate Councilmember Ayala.
I did speak with him about his availability and willingness. He did suggest that he would be willing, and
It's one of the hardest
Yes.
interviewing things that we do. It really is.
The hardest.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it. I'm interacting with the youth council as their liaison, so I've seen them participate and in the different events and know who they are. So I would accept that.
I think you'd be the perfect person. So we have a first and a second. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. During this agenda item 4, the City Council will hear public statements from all persons who have submitted speaker cards. I apologize, I skipped one item here. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, the next item on the agenda is item 3C1. Presentation regarding the new electric buses by Deputy Public Works Director of Transit, Ben Gonzalez.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and council members. This evening, we are pleased to present the city's first electric zero-emission transit bus. The purchase represents an important step towards meeting California's Innovative Clean Transit Regulation, or ICT for short, which requires a gradual transition to a 100% zero-emission bus fleet. The bus is a 2026 35-foot New Flyer Excelsior Charge model. The estimated range is up to 270 miles. The capacity is 32 seated passengers, and the bus can be charged with curbside or overhead charging systems. Staff is available to answer any questions that you may have, and hopefully not too technical. I know enough to be dangerous, but not.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Mayor Pro Tem Litzer.
Just a question. Thank you for that concise report. And I think I've seen them out on the street. We have how many? 1, 2, how many are actually operating right now?
0 in operation. We just took delivery this past Friday. And,
So we just received it.
Right. So we have the first one, which is outside display in front of the flagpole. So we have 1 of 6. That'll be arriving in the next 3 weeks.
Got it. 32 seats versus how many currently on the non-electric?
About the same. About
So similar
give or take
capacity.
Maybe 2 less seats at most, but the same amount of seating capacity.
Very good. And right now, charging occurs where?
Right now, charging will occur at the Transit Maintenance Facility, or PSC. The overall goal is to, once the transit center is built here, just outside the library, we'll do overhead charging as well So they'll be able to charge every hour once they come to the Civic Center.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Ayala.
With the buses that we're replacing, are we able to get any money for those? Like, what happens with those current buses?
Those buses go to auction, U.S. auction, I think is the name, and it could vary depending on the highest bidder, anywhere from $200,000 to $400,000
Per bus?
Yes,
And that money we recoup here?
yes, and then that goes back into replacement to purchase the new vehicles.
So it's going to be just a immediate crossover, these come in, everything else goes out?
Right, right.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Since there are not, we're going to take a 10-minute recess and go out and view the bus.
Great. Right
So we'll
outside.
be adjourned for 10 minutes.
That means everyone else can go view the bus too, just to be very clear.
Thank you. We're back from recess now. We'd like to reopen the meeting. Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Thank you. Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4, public statements. During this agenda item 4, the City Council will hear all public statements from persons who have submitted speaker cards. Agenda item 4 is the time allotted for public statements on all items other than public hearings, appointments, and informational reports. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card was submitted to speak for this public statements item 4 for a period of no more than 3 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community residence for the record. We have 16 speaker cards. I will call 3 at a time at once. You'll know who you follow. Ben Davis, David Mosso, and Robert Lickens.
Mayor, council members, and city staff, my name is Ben Davis, president of Piccola Tiny Homes here in Simi Valley. I'm also a veteran, and I had the honor of serving as a captain in the United States Air Force. That experience taught me a lot about service, responsibility, and the importance of taking thoughtful action when real needs exist. And that is why I'm here again tonight. The people of Simi Valley are ready now. Piccola Tiny Homes already has a list of over 100 people in Simi Valley who want a tiny home in their backyard as soon as they are allowed. And when we were recently out in the community, dozens more people came up to us asking the same question: can we buy one yet? I had multiple people tell me they were ready to buy immediately, and that should tell us something. The need is not coming, it's already here. There are families paying exorbitant amounts of money for assisted living for their parents because they need a solution now, not 2 years from now after a traditional ADU might finally be finished. They don't have the luxury of waiting. Every month we delay is more time lost that families don't get back. There are also young adults still living in their parents' homes because they can't afford to move out, but they are ready for independence, privacy, and a place of their own. They do not need another speech about the problem. They need a path forward. The groundwork has already been done. Other cities have already shown that movable tiny homes can be clearly defined and regulated responsibly, and a memo has already been drafted. So tonight, I'm asking again, plainly and respectfully, bring the memo into public view, let this council see it, let the people see it, let this conversation move forward in the open, because Simi Valley families are ready now, and they should not have to keep waiting. Thank you for your consideration.
David Mosso.
Hi, good evening, Simi Valley, Madam Mayor, council members, and city staff. My name is David Mosso, and I have lived in Simi Valley since 1980. I previously served on one of our city neighborhood councils, and I cared deeply about the safety and community. I want to speak about the tragic death of 13-year-old Reese Beck, who was struck and killed by a train at Sequoia Avenue and Los Angeles Avenue Railroad crossing. Although I did not know Reese or his family, I want to express my sincere sympathy for their loss. His passing has affected many of us, and it has compelled me to speak up. The crossing where the tragedy occurred has clear and dangerous safety deficiencies. On the east side of Sequoia, the sidewalk allows bicyclists, e-bike riders, and pedestrians to bypass the vehicle gate entirely. There is no pedestrian gate, no swing gate, no fencing, no channelization, and no forced stopping point. A young rider traveling south on that sidewalk is not required to stop and is not physically guided to stop before entering the tracks. Visibility is also extremely limited. A bicyclist riding southbound on the east sidewalk can only see the approaching train at the moment it is already crossing the road. There is no meaningful opportunity to see the train in advance or to understand the danger before entering the crossing. This is not a rare or unpredictable situation. It is a known hazard, and it is preventable. In the days after this tragedy, I began researching the history of this crossing. That led me to the Metrolink Simi Valley double track project, which includes safety upgrades to this exact location, including new track panels and upgraded warning devices at the Sequoia Avenue crossing. I also noticed something important. Several Metrolink crossings west of Sequoia Avenue have already received upgraded safety protections, while Sequoia Avenue and some crossings east of it have fallen behind. I located a timeline image shown environmental review completed in 2021, design scheduled to finish in summer of 2025, construction scheduled to begin in summer 2026. It appears this project is in a kind of pause, a limbo between phases where design is nearing completion, but construction has not moved forward. Sadly, these planned safety upgrades were not in place in time to prevent the tragedy that occurred. Because of this pause, there is an urgent need to protect our crossings right now, not only years from now when the Metrolink project is complete. I respectfully ask the city to explore temporary safety measures at this and other crossings, such as temporary pedestrian
Mr.
gates.
Masso, I'm sorry, your time is up.
I have just one page left, and it's all other protections to reduce risk while we wait for the long-term project to move forward. I respectfully ask the city to seek out and publicly present the current status of the Metrolink Simi Valley Double Track project so our community can clearly understand where the project stands and what steps are being taken to move it forward. In addition, I'm asking the city to take
I do need to cut
actions.
you off now, Mr. Masso.
First,
I'm
formally-
sorry. It's a very important issue, I understand, but we've gone 30, almost 40 seconds over our time. But it's an important issue. I completely
Please honor
agree. Thank you.
Respect, thank you.
Thank you.
And look into it. I emailed you folks as well. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Robert Likens. I am here. Normally, I go after Matthew Abbey and just say ditto, but unfortunately, my car got in before him. But in 4 STRs, we operate and own STRs in Thousand Oaks, Moore Park, and Simi Valley. And I think we've been here before. All the benefits. It sounds like you guys are on the right track where we're going to put some regulations in place, and that would be my recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Abbey, James McGillis, and Dina Chavanek.
All right, good evening, City Council. My name is Matthew Abbey. As I've shared in the past, I strongly support responsible short-term rentals because of the real positive impact they have on our community. To remind you, over the years, I've hosted personally more than 20,000 nights with only one single issue during that entire time. Tonight, I'd like to speak to the heart. What do short-term rentals mean to guests? I recently went back through all of our guest reviews. These stories show why guests choose our homes. It's not just a place to sleep. It becomes part of life's most meaningful chapters, celebrations, healings, reunions, farewells, and homecomings. The emotional weight behind some of these bookings is genuinely touching. Families come to us during life's most tender moments. A mother with recurrent ovarian cancer seeking one last visit with her sister before chemo. A wife returning after heart surgery for critical follow-up. A family displaced by a devastating home flood. Parents supporting their child through surgery, and loved ones gathering for funerals or weddings. Many return with deep emotion to Simi Valley, the hometown they grew up in or once called home, bringing children and grandchildren to celebrate holidays, milestones, and reunions where their roots still run strong. Others stayed so they could be near loved ones receiving trauma care. Many simply needed a quiet, peaceful place to get away and recharge. Families came so their children could stay close while their parents were going through a difficult divorce. One guest in particular stayed while his wife was receiving level 1 care at Cedars-Sinai. I heard back from him later that she sadly lost her battle, but he told me how deeply he cherished the precious time they were able to spend together in our home during her final days. What does this mean to me? To me, this work means everything. It's how I provide for my family. It's how I provide for the homeowners we serve. It's how we support the hardworking people in our community, the cleaners, maintenance teams, handymen, and others who earn a living through this. I care deeply about this, the same way I cared for my students for 23 years as a teacher. And some of you guys at the street fair saw DMS. That was mine and Mr. Nevin's project until recently for me. Our goal should be to create opportunity, not take it away. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Mayor Kavanaugh, members of the City Council, I'm James McGillis, and unlike some speakers tonight, I'm proud to say I live in Simi Valley. While the City Council has equivocated over short-term rentals, my street has changed forever. Next door to me is the Honey House STR, which is owned by an LLC. Down the street at 3377 Corpus Christi is an abomination of an illegal STR. Although the landscaping and facade are beautiful, what lurks behind that towering wooden gate is a little bit scary. A canvas canopy stretches the full length of the driveway attaching to the garage. To stabilize it, someone has welded steel struts to the cinder block wall next door. Is it a fire trap, a seismic disaster waiting to happen, or both? You do not have to trespass to see the obvious building and safety issues on that property. Do an independent survey of the neighbors behind it on Travis Avenue. You will find it's a party house. As you know, the Supreme Court has made after-the-fact bribery of politicians legal. For instance, a council member could vote in favor of legalizing STRs and then after the vote accept campaign donations from Airbnb, VRBO, and dark money facilitators. Since Mr. Rhodes, you addressed me at the last meeting, I will address you. You've been the chief advocate for regulating short-term rentals and legalizing them. Have you ever accepted campaign money from Airbnb, VRBO, or other facilitators of STRs? For the record, will you do so in the future? Since you and one other council member required the Simi Valley City Manager to spend $30,000 on an independent survey, do you still think that was wise, or could the money have been better spent at the Sequoia Avenue Railroad crossing? Do you live in a neighborhood controlled by a homeowners association? Will you and your family vote to have STRs in your own neighborhood? To each member of the City Council, change up here. The 500-year-old heritage oak tree on Oak Road is scheduled for development into a parking lot. Thank you, Joni Mitchell. If that issue comes before the City Council, will you vote in favor of removal of the tree?
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Dina Shavanik, and I spoke several times in support of STRs. As I have shared before, my father of 87-year-old owns the STR. The income from the property helps to support the care and assisted living that is deeply important to our family. Equally important to us has been understanding the concerns around STRs in Simi Valley. When we chose this path, we did not ignore the potential impact on his neighbors or the bordering communities. It matters to us that we remain a positive presence, not just in his neighborhood, but in Simi Valley as a whole. In attending City Council meetings, I was hoping to gain an understanding of what specific issues STRs are causing, so we could address them or improve where needed. However, over the past several meetings, I've mainly heard from a small number of residents who oppose STRs for personal reasons. I have yet to hear substantiated evidence showing that STRs are creating problems or nuisances in our neighborhoods. In fact, I've heard the opposite. STRs bring respectful guests additional revenue to our city. There are already regulations in place that help prevent or that help preserve neighborhood character, including parking rules, maintaining property maintenance, and operational standards that are well above long-term regulations, all of which contribute positively to neighborhood appearance and value. I am sure you are as ready as we are to bring this issue to a close, and I appreciate your continued attention and patience as it is discussed. In closing, I encourage the council to consider maintaining the current approach to STRs. From what I'm hearing, they are not causing the kinds of problems that would justify restrictions. As the saying goes, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Thank you again for your time and for the effort you've dedicated to this issue.
Thank you.
The next three cards, Ivana Chrisman, Sana Joshi, and Angela Toison, and Kathy Wagenbach.
Oh, this is so tall.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh, City Council. I'm here tonight to talk to you about different organizations and ways to give back to our community. This coming weekend, our Rotary Club, I actually wrote down mine, and there's a couple of us. Our Rotary Club has our annual fundraiser, which is a softball tournament. And if you haven't signed up, please still come and join us. It's on Saturday at the Estern Park, and we will have fun. We will have burgers and beverages and cheer our teams on. If you missed on that, I'm also fundraising for the Samaritan Center. They have their Second Chance Prom event. And there's so many wonderful nominees for that. It's May 14th. So it's not about titles and being king and queen. It's about supporting our communities and giving back. We're really not competing against each other. We're actually doing stuff together to fundraise for this wonderful organization that supports others. So vote for whoever you want. Donate, share if you can't attend, and I hope I'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. My name is Angela Twason, and I'm here with my friend Sana Joshi. We are students of Simi Valley Unified who are interested in improving the healthcare system and are here to speak about safety regarding assistive mobility.
We firmly believe in improving the safety of patients through knowledge and access about different types of crutches. The issue at hand is that most patients essentially have no say in the type of crutch that they're given. Rather, they're routinely provided with an auxiliary or underarm crutch. They aren't informed of any alternative options.
Using crutches improperly and to the point where it feels like forever can lead to discomfort, reduced mobility, potential nerve compression, soft tissue irritation, and other big fancy words compiled in a seemingly never-ending list. On the other hand, forearm crutches can pose as a solution to these problems by improving comfort, posture, and functional movement for patients. Despite this, access and awareness of forearm crutches are extremely limited in many clinical settings.
As you've explained the issue and pointed out the differences between the crutches, research in numerous articles can substantiate our claims. Crutches aren't perfect and will always have imperfections, no matter what type of crutch it is. The National Library of Medicine acknowledges that even forearm crutches have issues, implying that crutches aren't universally effective. This means that patients should have knowledge of alternate options when being prescribed them. Yet, an article from the Millennial Medical states that hospitals stock bulks of underarm crutches.
We are very appreciative of your time in listening to us spread awareness about the hazards regarding assistive mobility. We strive to garner the support of both the City Council and residents of Simi Valley as we try to bring justice to this issue. Hopefully one day we will live in a state that requires explanations of forearm and underarm crutches, coupled with the options for them both. Thank you.
Thank you both ladies.
Good evening, City Council members. My name's Kathy Wagenbach, and I'm a resident of Big Sky, the Big Sky area here in Simi Valley. I'm here tonight to speak about the growing safety concern involving children riding motorized electric bikes in our community. Over the past 2 years, there's been a noticeable increase in accidents involving e-bikes across Southern California. One tragic example was in Huntington Beach, where a 14-year-old child riding an e-bike struck an 81-year-old man who died later from his injuries. The situation had devastating consequences for both families. Closer to home, my own family has experienced near misses. My son, who lives in Westminster, was nearly hit by 2 children riding e-bikes at high speed while he was jogging and crossing the street, and they didn't slow down to check to see if there was any traffic. What brought me here tonight was the most recent one right here in Simi. When I heard about this terrible accident, I couldn't help but think these children should not be riding around on the streets with these motorized bikes. However, it was more than just another sad story about e-bikes. It directly touched my son and his family. My 13-year-old granddaughter was in his youth group at church, and my 9-year-old grandson is good friends with his brother. They should not have had this kind of experience and tragedy at such a young age. This not only affects a family, but a school and a church community, friends, teammates, and Simi as a whole. Here in Simi, I've personally witnessed young riders speeding down Erringer Road and Lost Canyon, performing wheelies, extended stretches, often without helmets. These bikes may be classified as Class 1 and Class 2, but many are modified to exceed safe speed limits. At that point, they function like small motorcycles. This is just not about reckless behavior, it's about safety and responsibility. Children under 15, actually it goes to 21, are still developing judgment and decision-making skills. When combined with high speeds, motorized bikes, the risk to themselves and others becomes significant. I respectfully urge the City Council to consider stronger local regulations, including prohibiting children under 15 from riding e-bikes on city streets and sidewalks, establishing enforceable penalties for violations, including fines for parents and guardians, increasing education and awareness around e-bike safety. My goal is not to take something away from children, but to prevent serious injuries or worse before more tragedies occur. I would also appreciate guidance on the...
I'm sorry, your time is up. Thank you. We will be addressing some of this tonight as soon as we're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alin Eason, Anthony Eason, and Robert Sett.
Good evening, City Council. The time has come, and our City Council is bringing short-term rentals, STRs, back to the agenda to be discussed next Monday, May 11th. The Council is planning to vote to legalize and regulate STRs. This will merge single-family residential zones with business zones, allowing neighborhood motels to legally exist in our city. On March the 9th, a councilman requested a survey be done, which was seconded by another councilman. This survey, approved by our city manager, with no discussion or actual vote by our elected leaders, cost the city $30,000. Apparently because it was something these two council members wanted. Their wants trumped everyone's voices. This expensive, secretive survey's results will only be revealed at the council meeting on May 11th. No doubt, without explaining how its random sample of respondents were selected, what questions were asked, or just what input our leaders had in shaping it. The one thing that still might make a big difference when the council votes is actual Simi residents showing up. Anyone who doesn't want STRs citywide, attend the city council meeting and voice your opinion. Be brave enough to come, talk about how you feel. Don't expect that others are going to do it for you. Supporters and owners of STRs, they will attend to ensure they keep making money at our city's expense. Without your voice, STRs will be legalized and regulated in all Simi Valley neighborhoods. STRs are a convenience. They're not a necessity. Banning STRs will protect your quality of life, your property values, and the safe, friendly neighborhoods permanent Simi residents cherish. Please spread the word and help get people to come to the May 11th City Council meeting. I will be looking forward to the presentation of staff's draft ordinance to ban STRs on May 11th, as implied by the city manager and Councilman Ayala. And just a short note, myself, my husband, and Jim went to the street fair on Saturday just to give out little flyers asking people to come to the meeting. Not saying whether to ban, not saying whether to regulate, just please come. We were asked to leave. We were told we were not allowed to do that, and we were actually asked to leave the street fair. So, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Anthony Eason, resident of Simi Valley. On March 9th, 2026, the City Council failed to follow protocol in regards to item 10B. Item 10B and its founding document, Resolution Number 2019-36, also known as Policy A40, indicate the city agenda item was created so council members could bring items to future meeting agendas. This item was used to approve a survey, not for an agenda item to be added to discuss a potential survey. Under Policy A40, it states the following. Section 5, council member requests for future agenda items. 1, any city council member may request that a matter be placed on a future agenda item for discussion. The item was used to approve a survey without discussion. 2, the mayor may ask the city council for concurrence to add the item to a future meeting agenda. Council members should not discuss the substance of the item at this time. At this time refers to discussion prior to concurrence, not after. 3, concurrence is 2 or more city council members verbally agreeing that the item should be brought back for a full city council discussion, including the requester. This was not done. 4, concurrence that staff time and city resources be devoted to the requested item does not signify approval of the item. It only indicates that the city wishes to have it studied further and move forward with a discussion. Again, there was no discussion. The survey was approved. Did the expenditure for this survey follow city municipal code? The city manager has discretionary ability to authorize and approve contracts for consulting services. However, the city manager is subject to certain limitations and restrictions. Under Municipal Code 2-9.304D, City Manager Authorization, it states, the contract shall not have, may not result in, or be the result of a significant policy decision necessitating prior council review and approval. There was no discussion, review, or approval by a vote of the full city council for this survey. I believe that a decision regarding residential short-term rentals affecting the entire city is a significant policy decision. The city's lack of transparency of this survey and how it got approved is alarming. Residents need to hold their elected officials and city employees properly accountable.
Thank you.
Dear members of the Simi Valley City Council, my name is Robert Sett, and I'm a local resident and homeowner in Simi Valley. Like many families in Simi Valley, we have felt the significant impact of rising living costs over the past few years. Recently, I invested in building an ADU attached to my primary residence. This was not only a major financial commitment requiring a second mortgage, but also a long-term commitment in my property and community. Since September of last year, I have been using this ADU as a short-term rental, and I'm proud to say that we have had 0 issues with guests or neighbors. Hosting on Airbnb provided my family with a responsible and much-needed way to keep up financially. We operate with strict guidelines, including maximum number of guests, house rules, enforced quiet hours. We designated parking for our guests, closed on-site supervision, being that I live on the property. I respectfully ask that the council consider policies that allow short-term rentals, reasonable regulations such as occupancy limits, quiet hours, registration requirements, can address community concerns while still allowing families like mine to benefit from this opportunity. Thank you for your time and consideration and service to the community.
Thank you.
Frank Tomlinson, Todd Taylor, and Roy Kahn.
Good evening. My name is Frank Tomlinson, and I appreciate you giving me the time this evening. I've come a couple times, and you guys are all aware that I came with the idea of actually allowing the small business that not small business, but the nonprofit that my partners and I have created, Vets in Valor, distribute the banners that are up on the light poles around the city when they're retired back to veterans after they separate. I appreciate that consideration. I was in touch with about a dozen local veteran-owned businesses today to start creating the resources so that we can get those out to veterans when they come to actually pick up the banners, if you guys will agree and allow us to do this. We really have a vision of making Simi Valley the most pro-veteran city in our county, but as been pointed out to me earlier, we probably are already that. So now we're gonna go for Ventura County being the most pro county in the entire state, okay? I appreciate you guys helping this. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and council members. My name is Todd Taylor. I've been a Simi Valley resident for over 17 years, small business owner as a private investigator for 27 years, homeowner, and then today, officially candidate for District 1 City Council. I'm here tonight again to talk about STRs. I want to address what this discussion is really centered on, fear of the unknown. The Eastons have been very vocal on this issue, and I understand their concern. In public statements to the Ventura Star, they described the short-term rental next door that operated for a few months last year. They stated they had no significant issues, no ongoing noise problems, no parking issues, and no disturbances. Their concern was simply not knowing who was staying next door. But the reality is most people don't know many of their neighbors now, even those who live there full-time. Making policy should be about actual safety, not perception. This is a personal comfort issue, and government regulation should not be used to solve personal comfort. Because even your own data shows very few complaints and minimal impact overall. Regulation isn't solving an actual problem. If there are bad actors, deal with them directly, enforce the laws we already have. Even creating regulation with unnecessary restrictions burdens responsible homeowners and attempts to regulate something that is already working. Regardless of any regulations or permits, the City Council and law enforcement can contact Policy Department of Airbnb directly anytime to discuss and assist with any hosting issues. This council has their contact information, or some of the council, I should say, has their contact information to do so, as I know they've already reached out to a couple of council members. I mean, Simi Valley has the tools it needs already and does not need to have a permit system to regulate any Airbnb problem hosts. Also note that Airbnb has had a party ban since 2020 with a zero tolerance policy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. Good evening, Mayor Dee Dee Kavanaugh. I would like to thank you for the opportunity for the towing in Simi Valley. I'm here to talk to you about a couple things in the RFP that came up. One of the things in the RFP was the insurance. The insurance, when it first came out at $5 million, and then it came down to $1 million. And all the insurance on the auto liability is in the industry, AAA is the standard of the set, and they set it at 500, and CHP sets it at 750. If it's set at $1 million, that means that I would have to put $1 million coverage on all my trucks. I can't separate my trucks. So I'm asking you to take a look at that and take in consideration of doing the CHP standard of 750. I'm also here to talk about the dividing line of Sycamore and the towing from Sycamore from east to west instead of a rotation. I've been doing the towing in Simi Valley for 7 years and never had an issue with the city in the towing in anything. And when you go to a rotation gets confusing with more people on scene or who did what call and who gets what car and this stuff. So I wish you would consider to leave it alone as a dividing line and to keep things simpler. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last speaker, Ken Hurst.
Good evening. My name is Ken Hurst. I'm a resident of Simi Valley. Another Simi Valley resident has been taken by ICE since we last spoke. A total of 38 people have been taken in Simi Valley in the last year and change. Continuing our earlier conversation about FLOC. The Fourth Amendment states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. In 2018, the Supreme Court ruled in Carpenter versus US that it is a Fourth Amendment violation for police to access cell phone location data without a warrant. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that participation in modern life essentially requires us to carry cell phones, and so access to cell phone location data through a third party, a phone company in this case, is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. I can leave my cell phone at home. I am required by the state to register my car and to display my license plate. There is no reasonable alternative to routinely getting around Simi Valley other than using a car. Though the Supreme Court has not yet taken a case, it seems that FLOC presents a significant Fourth Amendment issue. I do not doubt that FLOC data can help police solve crimes. So would tracking everyone's cell phone, or requiring everyone to wear an ankle monitor, or carry an AirTag with them, or having an AI microphone in every kitchen, things that clearly require a warrant. Benjamin Franklin was reputed to have said that anyone who would trade liberty for security deserves neither. FLOC has recently started offering AI services to some police departments, quote, exposing hidden criminal patterns and providing agencies with actionable insights, unquote. This goes well beyond find the jewelry thief's car to generating suspicions of future criminal behavior based on predictive AI models and our data for, quote, pre-crime, unquote, policing. Given the new terms and conditions effective as of February with FLOC, Simi Valley data can likely be used to train these AI models. Please address the Fourth Amendment issue, possibly by setting up a check and balance system wherein accessing FLOC data requires second-person approval for each and every search in a way that reinforces accountability and transparency. I note that the blank reasons in the publicly facing log continue to exist. Fix the public-facing logs to eliminate blank reasons, include the agency doing the access, eliminate log entries changing from time to time so that citizens can see the data and have increased confidence that the system is not being abused.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Your time is up.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 4A, City Council comments regarding public statements.
Thank you. Before we start on that, I want to address a couple of issues. The tragedy we recently had has affected our entire community in multiple ways. I know the siblings were from 3 different schools. They're Simi Youth Baseball, where there's 850 kids. There's friends and family. So I just want everyone to know that our hearts and prayers are with the entire community for this tragedy, and we are doing whatever we can to try and avoid it in the future. We've reached out to Metro to try and get them to come out and give an explanation as to when they could possibly change that out, and maybe give us some hope that that will be soon. We've also, prior to the tragedy happening, our traffic bureau attended a meeting of the Simi Valley School principals and gave a wonderful presentation on e-bikes and the laws and what is acceptable, what's not. And the school district has promised to work with us on that. We had a tri-agency meeting. Out of that, we've also come up with the Rancho Park District is going to allow us to use their Rancho Santa Susana Community Center. So the Simi Valley Police Department will host a free e-bike safety education event on May 26th, 2026, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Rancho Santa Susana Community Center. That is the S-turn location. So we're hoping anyone and everyone that is interested or cares about it will come out and visit and obtain the information and share it with those that aren't there. So with that, we'll go back to letting all the council members speak. So thank you. Councilmember Ayala.
Thank you. The first thing is I just wanted to make a correction on the buses. We had asked if we get money from the buses that we turn back in. It's $2,000 to $4,000, not $200,000 to $400,000. So I just wanted everyone to know, or people might say, where does that $1.5 million go?
We were really hoping.
Yeah. So when I went outside, they said you might want to correct what we had said. So just so everyone's aware. The second thing is for the STRs, that's on next week's agenda. And I just wanted to mention that I do believe that as part of that report, that everyone will understand the method of how the survey was conducted, the questions that were asked, how the people were, the survey was sent out, and everything. So I think that by attending next week's meeting, you'll have all of the open information that you were asking for, so that everyone's comfortable that nothing was being left out. So I do think that that's going to be part of it, and so everyone will be very aware as to what happened and how it came to be. The third thing is, Mr. Davis, we coming back to see you again. City Manager, do we know about the tiny homes timeline for that?
In process, as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, Ben. And then also, so I'm putting you on the spot again. Sorry about is it Tomlinson, Frank? Tomlinson. What about a timeline for that?
I have the memo from staff, but there's some information that's missing that I need to include before I distribute it to you guys. So I have to make some modifications to the memo.
So also in process for you too. I just wanted you guys to know that we haven't forgotten about you. It's moving forward. And then I wanted to just two more things. For the middle school students, to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's impressive how that you're in school and you're able to do this project. And at the same time, you could have been 25 and we would still be interested in the change that you want to make, right? And so I do have some questions for you specifically to then kind of help guide like what your next step might be. I don't know if you actually need guidance or support because you seem to be doing just fine yourself. But if you want to reach out to me and walk me through kind of where you're at, or if you're stuck anywhere, I can see if I can help you move to the next step. Okay, so make sure you reach out if you need it. Again, you're doing fine yourself, but if you need something else, let me know. And then in regards to Mr. Masso, I think you're the one who sent the email, yes? Okay. You didn't know Reese, and you still came and spoke on his behalf, and a lot of us didn't know him either, but I don't think we have to know him to be able to feel the impact, just like you. You mentioned you didn't know who he was. And as the mayor said, it's something that affects the entire community. And so it's also, I wanted to let everyone know that we mentioned the day of prayer, and May 7th at 12 noon here at the courtyard is our day of prayer. So I invite everyone to come out to join us at 12 p.m. on May 7th, and that maybe we should include something about Reese in that day of prayer on Thursday. And if we weren't planning on doing it, we should also adjourn in memory of him as well.
I have that down.
Okay. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Litster.
Thank you for all your comments. Appreciate it, and that's much of what I wanted to say. I did want to say, Mr. Ben Davis, at the street fair, your tiny homes that were there to be toured by so many was very impressive, and I'm pleased to hear there's such interest locally, and so I look forward to that report when we get it soon, because I think there's a way forward. I really do. Ivana, Ms. Chrisman, thank you for speaking to some of the great opportunities that are coming in our neighborhood from Rotary Club softball tournament, Samaritan Center. I just want to speak that there's so many clubs doing so many good things that it's almost overwhelming the amount of desire and goodness. And so thank you for mentioning those two and other great things that are happening in our community. I will say that Angela and Sasha, well done, beautifully presented. Two young ladies from Hillside Middle School who I had the pleasure of meeting with this past week, who are on a mission to make things better for others. And I just want to share, I don't want to give their secrets away. They're not doing this for a grade. This has nothing to do. This is entirely from a desire and passion from their heart to improve things for people and more healthy and giving them more options. And so thank you for coming to speak to us. I know you are going to be at many other places, so kudos to both of you, and keep sharing the message. So thank you for being here. Again, those who spoke about the tragedy, thank you for referencing for your comments, and it is just hard to fathom, and I'm glad that the city is holding Metrolink to their plans, and as you pointed out, getting them done now. Not summer, yes, it may happen this summer, but let's do it. We'll do it absolutely now. As to those who spoke about the STRs on both sides, obviously this is a discussion that we will be having next week, and it's a very nuanced discussion. We really want to do what's best for our city. I did want to mention, Ellen, you referenced going to the street fair and trying to pass out flyers. It was interesting. I had the opportunity of speaking with Officer McAllister, I think after he'd probably spoken with you, and what he expressed, and I just want to be very clear, had nothing to do with the content at all. It is entirely that street fair, that vendors have paid to have positions there and to pass out material, and that no one is supposed to be passing things out, that it becomes basically a private space that has been contracted by the chamber for that event. And that is why you were asked to stop distributing papers, but I'm sure that was very frustrating. And so I just wanted to communicate that he had expressed to me how he knew that was difficult. I realize my time is really up. Just a couple other things. I did want to mention to the gentleman with the towing company. Thank you. I'm sorry. I realize it's a closed session item and often we pass things in closed session, but based on the questions that you have raised, I'm sorry, closed session. It's a consent calendar item. Thank you. Often it just gets passed. Based on some of your questions you raised, I do intend to pull it just so we can get those questions answered publicly and we can have that discussion. And then just one other thought. Mr. Taylor, thank you for joining the race of candidates. Actually, it's delightful to see many people here who want to make a difference on our city council. So thank you for being here, those that are. And Mr. Hurst made many comments about various things, flock camera. I don't see where, there you are. Thank you. I've got to focus. I just want you to know, particularly your last comment about fixing the blank reasons for that information. I think that is critical. I know that the police intends it to be there, so I thank you for sounding that again, and I will follow up and see where that stands. So again, thank you all for your contributions tonight.
Thank you. Councilmember Rhodes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will not repeat all of the things. We were covered extremely well. There were, on the short-term rental issue, it was brought up, alluding to and hinting a suspicion at campaign donations. The great thing about our government and freedom of information as well as reporting is every donation that comes into me, you get to see. So pull the 460 forms, pull the 700s, and read what you want into it. If you have conspiracy in your mind, you will probably read something into it that isn't there, but you're free to do so. And I am unclear as to why one would resist an attempt to get at the actual truth and feeling of what the community desires and the absolute necessity, I think, of having a poll done of the entire city to figure out what is truth and what is fiction, what is loudly spoken versus what is softly spoken. And next week, we all get to find out and see the report and see how the questions were formulated by a professional company, what their decision-making process was in putting that together, and you'll find out that we spent a very little bit of money to get some really good information that will help us make good decisions.
Thank you. Councilmember Judge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to say also thank to everybody coming out and speaking. I want to just mention real quick, because this was brought to my attention, although I will be coming back from a SCAG event that day. There's going to be a memorial held for Reese at the Simi Valley Youth Baseball Fields over on, that's on Township, right?
No, it's
The Madera. So that's the big baseball fields. So that's going to be going on Friday, May 8th. Wanted to let everybody know about that. Also, the tragedy was very, very, I hate to say these kind of words, but close to home for me. And I am going to work in my positions on the transit authorities I sit on to make sure that Metro pushes that forward. The reason it was scheduled back was because MetroLink had to figure out a way to do a double-track system from our S-turn all the way to Sequoia Avenue. So they paused their railroad track maintenance or their upgrades at Sycamore. So I'm going to try and get them to get that going faster. I know the city's also working on that, so hopefully we can pressure them into at least finishing the intersections and then doing their double track. But I also don't want to pile on whatever else said, but thank you all for coming out tonight and speaking.
Thank you. Before I give any closing comments, may I have Commander Darren Mueller and Sergeant Josh McAllister come up and give us just a quick thought process on what you're going to do in the educational meeting that we're going to be having on e-bikes. Sergeant McAllister is our traffic sergeant. So, thank you. Any information you want to share with us? Thank you.
So what was mentioned, March 26th, I believe, or I'm sorry, May 26th is when the meeting is. It's just in its infancy stage right now. There hasn't really been an agenda put in place. It's going to be probably more of a presentation on the legality of what the e-bikes are, class 1, 2, and 3, what's not allowed on the streets or sidewalks, what isn't allowed to be ridden in our cities, the electric motorcycles, the illegal devices. And at that point, we'll also open up to questions. Our intent and our hope is, one, to have kids, but also to have parents there. Because I think sometimes parents buy devices and aren't really certain what it is. So we want to educate the parents as much as we do the kids, and hope that the parents will help us with the kids and help us understand that maybe they shouldn't be riding at a certain level and get out there. We also have we did some stats after the tragic incident that happened. And we are out there doing enforcement. We've been out doing bicycle enforcement for a couple of years now. It's been on our radar. It's something we've been pressing as a traffic bureau to try to make a difference in. 4 citations. 2025, we did 4 citations for just regular bicycles, and we did over 43 citations on e-bicycles. Those are also including electric motorcycles or illegal devices. So far this year in 2026, we have 9 e-bike citations or e-motorcycle citations, because there's not really a section. They kind of fall under the same. We've impounded, in 2025, we impounded 11 e-bikes or electric motorcycles, and this year alone, we've impounded 3 so far. Unfortunately, our fatalities or our injury collisions in bicycles are a big problem for us and something we're trying to address. So in 2025, we had 24 bicycle or e-bike collisions. And as you can understand, if you're on a bicycle or e-bike and you're involved in a collision, you're probably going to end up getting injured. And majority of those cause injuries to the rider. Out of those 24, 14 of them included a juvenile. So that was involved. And that's another issue that we're having, is the amount of juveniles that are being injured on these devices. So far, 2026, we've had 10, with 4 of them being juveniles. And majority of these the bicycle rider or e-bike rider is found to be at fault. They just don't understand the rules of the road, don't understand how they need to be riding these devices. And when you put a young individual, young juvenile out on one of these devices, they don't understand the roadway rules and safety. And so we really want to address that with education. And that's part of what the town hall meeting is going to be about. And that's, we've created a new flyer that we're going to put up on our website. We handed it out at the street fair. We had a booth at the street fair this year. Based on the incident, I called the chamber and they let us come up there, our traffic division, and we just talked all day about e-bike and bicycle safety. So we created a flyer. It'll be available. We'll put some out in the lobby. So if anybody needs one or wants one, they can go to the website, come to the lobby and get one. It'll give you everything that's legal, 1, 2, 3, classes 1, 2, 3, what's illegal, and I'll also answer any other questions you have. And my contact information will be on there too.
Thank you, Sergeant Commander.
I'll throw my 2 cents in. Also, the e-bikes, and I will say this, with my age group, because we had a fatality last year, it's education across the board. It isn't just with juveniles, with youth. It's individuals, again, of my age group, that just don't know how to handle the bikes. It becomes a little overpowering. So our intent for that meeting is not only educational, but not unlike we had at the street fair. It's a lot of question answering. People have a lot of emotions, if you can imagine, especially after the recent event. So our intent is to educate and to provide them with some guidance, if you will.
Thank you. We appreciate that. I know I attended the Board of Supervisors meeting on Tuesday, and the Sheriff's Department also did a small presentation on e-bikes and what's legal, what's not, and what they're going to be working on. So I think all of our law enforcement agencies are taking this to heart, even more so than we were before. So thank you for all you're doing. We appreciate it. So thank you. I just wanted to let everyone know that we are doing what we can. It's a little too little, or it's too little too late, unfortunately, for this tragedy. But we have been trying to do the enforcement to the best of our ability. And again, I think information and education is really going to be our key right now. So thank you to our police department for doing all of that. Mr. Massa, thank you for all the research you did. That was fantastic. I'm sorry I had to cut you off. I really am. But it's hit our entire community. So, and thank you for doing all of that. Let's see. And thank you, Mr. Tomlinson, for the veterans. My nephew's currently serving, so we appreciate that. I know Mike's a veteran also. And then Roy, we'll look at, yours is on the consent calendar, so I'm not sure what's going on there. So we'll wait and see when we get to that item. So as for that, we can move on to the next item. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is public hearings. This is a time for testimony on public hearings on the consideration of matter as presented on this agenda. Let the record show that due notice was given as required by law, and an affidavit to this effect is on file in the office of the City Clerk. All comments submitted by email have already been provided to the City Council and will be made part of the record. However, they will not be read by the City Clerk this evening. Speakers will be called on in the order in which their card was submitted to speak for this testimony item 5 for a period of no more than 5 minutes each. Persons addressing the City Council are requested to state their name and community residence for the record. Comments shall be limited to matters relevant to the item on the agenda and may be ruled out of order if comments are unrelated to the item. The reports of City staff relating to these matters shall be made part of the record of this meeting. If you challenge in court any of the City Council decisions made here tonight, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at this public hearing. The time within which judicial review must be sought is governed by California Code of Civil Procedure, Section 1094.6. Item 5A, a public hearing to receive and file the annual position vacancy report, and Senior Human Resources Analyst Jamie Cross and Deputy Human Resources Director Jennifer Gutierrez are here to present this item.
Thank you. Before we begin, are there any ex parte communications to report? Seeing none, staff may begin with the oral report at this time.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. Effective January 1, 2025, Assembly Bill 2561 amended the Myers-Milius-Brown Act, or the MMBA, to require public agencies to publicly report the status of their job vacancies. Our first public hearing was held in April 2025, and tonight we hold our second. As of December 31st, 2025, there were 62 vacant positions. However, with our recent salary adjustments, we are optimistic that next year's report will show a reduction in that number. With that, I will hand it over to Senior HR Analyst Jamie Cross for the presentation on our data.
Good evening. As previously stated, public agencies have an obligation to hold a public hearing each fiscal year prior to the adoption of the final budget and present information on the status of vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts, as well as provide an opportunity for each bargaining unit to speak during the public hearing. The city has 532 full-time positions amongst the management group, PMA, POA, SCIU, and SVEA. During 2025, 90 vacancies were created and 86 were filled. As of December 31st, 2025, 62 positions were vacant. And the vacancy average for the year was 10.4%. The competition amongst local agencies for qualified candidates continues to be challenging. As such, city staff continues to take steps in support of recruitment efforts, including ensuring job descriptions are updated prior to recruitment, streamlining recruitment and testing timelines whenever possible, increasing presence at job fairs and social media, highlighting increased salaries, and emphasizing benefits and work-life balance. Of the 90 vacancies created in 2025, 35 or 39% were by employees who left voluntarily. Others were from promotions or transfers, retirement, or were involuntarily terminated. And the annual staffing turnover for 2025 was 6.77%. Further, for those who left voluntarily, staff identified the following: 24 or 68% left for higher salary. 2 relocated, 2 left for health reasons, and 2 left due to work schedule issues. 5 did not provide a reason or stated they were dissatisfied. With regard to retention, the city has taken positive steps by approving raises for all employee groups since the last report, increasing contributions towards health benefits in most cases, enhancing communication via all-hands meetings, conducting welcome events for new employees, expanding employee recognition efforts, and sponsoring a variety of employee activities. Here is a breakdown of vacancies by group through December 31st, 2025. As noted, there are no groups exceeding or at a 20% vacancy rate. This concludes our presentation, and we're available for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff from city council members? Mayor Pro Tem Litster?
Thank you. I wanted to understand a little better. I think you said 24 or 68% left for higher salaries. Of those 24, do we know with specificity if they were, if any of the higher salaries can apply also that they may have taken a position of increased responsibility. Do we know with certainty that it was those 24, it was level, it was exact same positions they were filling elsewhere, or do we have that broken out? Do we know that with?
We actually have an exit interview survey that gets into the details because when we are processing a termination for somebody, it's very broad. And so often we will get those details once they've actually left, and Jamie does actually follow up with people on occasion when it's not clear even from the survey in an attempt to really get down to the details.
If it's a promotion or if it's just a,
yes,
a lateral transfer.
I want to say there's 20 different choices on the exit interview in terms of the reasons. And yes, it can be same job, or it can be a different job. It can be a promotion. It can be new career. yeah, I want to say 20, there's 20-something different choices. So we do get down to the nitty-gritty.
Thank you.
Councilmember Rhodes?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Jamie, I seem to remember that there is a trigger at some point if a position has been open too long, and there are ramifications for the city. Is that still a thing?
I don't know about a trigger per se. When a position is vacated, we rely on the department to submit their request for recruitment. We fast track it as best as we can. Sometimes we need additional information. It requires Human Resources, Jennifer's approval, as well as the city manager. And then generally meeting with the department to see if there's any changes needed to the job description, preparing materials, deciding on advertising, opening a recruitment, and then continuing to advertise if we are having difficulty in obtaining qualified candidates. But we've tried to fast track as much as we can to get to the finish line.
Are we actively trying to fill all the open seats, or are some of those on hold?
I'm sorry.
Are some of those positions on hold, where we don't actually need to fill them right now, and maybe for budget reasons, we're going to hold off?
I would have to also check with the departments on that, on what their motivation is.
So the numbers that I thought were completely right on with the number of employees that we have, and if we were a 500-person company, that turnover rate is a completely acceptable rate, but our open position percentage seems to be a lot higher. So perhaps in the near future, we might want to look at open positions and whether that's a reality need for Simi Valley any longer. We've changed as a city. We're not expanding and building as much as we are maintaining infrastructure, so maybe that needs to change. But thank you for the report, and I thought it looked really good.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ayala?
Thank you. I was going down the same line of thought as Councilmember Rhodes. And it is that I think we should definitely fill open positions if they are needed. I don't care if we find the money to do it, right? If it's needed, it's needed. But sometimes we have positions that we created years ago, just like in regular business, because it met a need at the time. So I don't think that we should just take for granted and say, okay, now there's a vacancy. Do we have to fill it? Maybe there's efficiencies we have now built in from years or something that the position may no longer be needed. And so I would say we just need to take a very thoughtful approach to look at the positions. Again, if they're needed, we should definitely say we need to fill them. But we also should look at it and say, is this something we still need? And if we don't, we should find a way to say, be realistic and say we don't need it. And so that's what I would encourage us to just do as an organization. We do it in the private sector all the time. And then the other, I thought I had one more question, but I can't remember. Oh, I was going to just make a general comment that for those that do work in the city, if you have a way, something that you think is a way that we can recruit better, and for some reason you haven't felt comfortable bringing it up to your manager, sometimes people don't want to bring up things. Come to somebody else, come to any of us up here, come to someone else, bring up the idea, because if you have a smart idea of how to fill a position and what would recruit and help attract people, we don't care where it comes from, we just want to know, right? So just an open invitation to reach out to the person you feel most comfortable with. We will get it to the right person and make that happen. Thanks.
City Manager Argabright?
I just want to address the comments from Councilmember Rhodes and Councilmember Ayala. So all open positions come across, as staff mentioned, the Deputy Director of HR's desk and my desk. So nothing gets open for recruitment until I approve it. And much to the department head's chagrin, I'm often questioning, do we still need this position? There have been positions that have been unoccupied for 4 years. So my question is, why are we filling it now? Why do we need it today? And is this still needed and necessary? So I'm looking very closely at all of those requests as they come across my desk, because I do ask all the department heads to evaluate anytime they're asking to fill a position, is this still a necessity in your department? Are we doing things differently? Have processes changed? That this is still a needed position? Because much like you, I think back to, just as an example, we used to have to use a typewriter for everything, right? And now we have, computers and AI and all of that. So where are we with the current needs of our departments and the city? And the department heads are asked to look at all of those things closely, and I consider all of those things very closely before we're opening positions. One of the other items that I'm looking at is if a department is not being responsive to a recruitment, then I've directed HR that we will close recruitments, because if we have candidates that are not getting responded to, then that is not good for our organization. It doesn't give a good reputation in the community, because we want to be responsive, and then how much of a priority is filling that position to the department. So I'm really asking the department heads to be very involved in this process.
Are there any other questions? Okay, the Service Employees International Union, SEIU, Local 721, will be called to provide their presentation on the matter. They will have 10 minutes for their presentation. So Local 721, will you please come forward? Thank you. You may proceed when you're ready.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. My name is Carson Acosta, Regional Director for SEIU, Local 721. To Councilmember Ayala's open invitation for additional ways for recruitment and retention. We have an idea. It's always more pay and better benefits. So we appreciate the opportunity to address council tonight. For our bargaining unit, our vacancy rate has remained mostly stable at about 16%, with the largest group of vacancies in the Public Works Department. In our last contract about 1 year ago, we won a hard-fought victory for a market compensation study that will be implemented in only a few months. And the goal of that market study was to address the vacancy rate and to address the ability of the city to recruit and retain qualified talent to this city. And that was a hard-fought win after months of pickets and a strike vote for the first time in decades. As we approach the final weeks before the implementation of the study, we again asked the city staff to work through the final issues and to make sure that the study is fairly implemented in accordance with the language that was agreed to. Our concern is that every classification as compensation is accurately and closely studied, and that the methodology is followed and not discounted. The report that was adopted by council several weeks ago, we do have some issues with. We have a meeting later this month to address that with staff. This market compensation study is, I think, a key tool for our city staff to be able to live in the city where they serve and to bring market rate wages to the city, which has historically been one of the lower paid cities in this county. So as we look to have final implementation, we look forward to working with city staff to accurately and completely implement the language that we agreed to. With that, I want to introduce our chapter president, Doug Roberts, who will have additional comments.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. 68% for salary. That seems like a tell to me. All right, this market study is a huge first step in keeping good employees and making sure we are able to recruit and retain new employees. Having this market study proves that you guys are committed to fixing the wage gap that has been a huge problem for many years. Taking this first step and doing this market study is greatly appreciated. I can speak for everyone. We all appreciate you guys putting in the effort and the time. We know this is not easy. This is a humongous undertaking. That being said, we have some concerns about the results of the study. We are not sure why the council would vote on results, why we are still waiting to set a date for a possible arbitration over a few issues. It also seems that the study results that you gave us last year, the end of last year or the beginning of this year, do not seem to match the results of the vote you guys took. We looked over the numbers. We also find it kind of odd that you didn't put it, that you were gonna vote on this on the agenda until 5 hours before the meeting. We have a lot of people that are looking for things like that for us. I think we need to work together to make Simi Valley not only a great place to live, but also a great place to work. You guys do such a great job fighting for the city. I live here. I love you guys. You guys do a great job fighting for the citizens of Simi Valley. I just really hope you guys put that much effort into fighting to pay the employees a fair wage. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are there any questions of the bargaining unit from city council members?
Well, I'm trying to understand your statement, Mr. Roberts, that it was put on the agenda 5 hours beforehand, because I know that all of it was posted, has to be posted 3 days in advance.
We were watching, we had people at work, we were watching the agenda and it wasn't there and it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden we refreshed.
You're saying the agenda item, or you're saying that?
Just that you guys were gonna be even voting on the wage compensation study? You guys voted on that, right? You agreed to the wage compensation study?
Do you want to comment on that?
I think there's some mischaracterization happening. So the item was placed on the agenda was published, and it did hit the website by, I believe it was 5:30 p.m. on Friday, the Friday before the city council meeting, which is typically later than items are posted. And that was a staff error. However, it did still meet the 72-hour noticing requirement for a 6:30 p.m. Monday night meeting. So there was no 5-hour prior to the meeting. It was posted on Friday prior to the Monday meeting, just as we do all of our other agenda items.
Okay. Thank you. Just wanted to understand.
Thank you. We'll talk about it later during the conversations that you're going to be having.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. At this time, I would like to open the hearing for anyone in the city council chambers wishing to be heard on this matter.
Madam Mayor, we have no other testimony cards.
All right, thank you. Are there any further comments or questions from city council members? Oh, I skipped over. Does staff have any response to the comments or issues raised?
No.
Thank you. So any other further comments or questions from city council members? Seeing none, this hearing is now closed, and I will now entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move to receive and file the city's annual position vacancies report.
Second.
Thank you. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We can now proceed to the next item.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 7, the consent calendar, and there is one resolution for your consideration this evening. Consent item 6, resolution number 2026-11, a resolution declaring the City Council's intent to levy and collect assessments for fiscal year 2026-27 in Simi Valley Landscape District Number 1 pursuant to Streets and Highways Code 22624, and setting a time and place for public hearing.
Councilmember Judge.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you very much. I've been asked by the police department to possibly pull item 3 for a short presentation by our police department about our drone system. I will also have to recuse myself on item number 3 because I'm a member of the Police Foundation and I won't be able to vote on it. And I'd also like, since it was brought up during public comments, to pull item 5 for discussion, and I will be back for that.
So pulling item 3, pulling item 5. Would somebody like to motion to approve the rest? Thank you.
Happy to motion acceptance, passage of items 1, 2, 4, and 6.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Madam Mayor, I think we need your vote. All right, thank you.
I didn't push lock, sorry.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. So we will pull item 3, so Councilmember Judge, thank you. Commander, welcome.
Madam Mayor, City Council members, and fellow staff, my name is Brian Samples. I'm the commander of the Investigations Bureau for the Police Department. I'm here tonight representing one of my ancillary assignments, overseeing our technical services team. Part of the technical services team, we have our unmanned aircraft systems, more commonly known as our drone team. Right now, our drone team consists of 15 pilots. Those pilots are all FAA certified under 107. And we have 8 operational drones. We have one large Maverick drone, 5 Matrices, and 2 Avata drones, the Avatas being the smallest, used for internal searches of buildings in small areas. Recently, we approached the Simi Valley Police Foundation with a request to purchase an additional drone. They were gracious enough to grant us the funds not to exceed $15,000 for the purchase of an additional Mavic T4 drone. This is the latest in the drone technology, which allows us not only to be more robust in our capacities with drones, but allows us to down drones that we use on a regular basis for regular maintenance and service. Some of these drones require parts and repairs in addition to having their electronic systems serviced. By bringing on this additional drone, we won't lose any capacity in our ability to deploy drones in needed times or tactical situations. With that, part of that $15,000 doesn't just cover the drone, it covers the controller for the drone, batteries, and additional accessories that we use. This new drone actually will enhance some of our operational capacity, as we only have one all-weather drone currently. This is a second all-weather drone, which will allow us to fly in both windy and inclement weather situations. With that, I would submit to the council if there's any questions about the drones. Otherwise, this is coming before you because it's part of the municipal code for being over $10,000 as part of Chapter 2, Section 9.
Are there any questions from council? Mayor Pro Tem Litster?
Thank you. You mentioned you have 15 pilots right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And this, I assume, does not necessitate an additional pilot. It just adds equipment. Is that correct? Or does this mean you need another handler, I guess?
No, right now, I believe we have a sufficient number of pilots. Typically, we deploy 2 at a time. When we're flying a drone, one is a spotter, one is a pilot.
Right.
But allowing us to have an additional drone very specifically to service some of our current drones that have extended flight hours from the number of different operations we use them for will really be beneficial to the department and not losing capacity while we have them serviced one at a time.
Very good. Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion for the item?
I would be happy to move approval of acceptance of a $15,000 grant from Foundation to make this happen.
Second.
Thank you. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously with Councilmember Judge recused.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, item 5. Who would like to start with that?
I'll go. Roy did mention something about the insurance requirement for our department's towing services. And I kind of think it makes sense that we should mirror the CHP's requirement. Like if anybody has any other decisions on why. I don't know, or maybe the city manager can explain the rationale for the $1 million requirement.
Or if it was different than what was in their previous contract, like, is it different?
So I'm actually going to call up Deputy City Manager Heather Sumagaisai, who worked on this item, and she'll be able to discuss thoroughly the insurance requirements. Each agency has different insurance requirements. There might have been different insurance requirements on the last contract. However, we have updated our insurance requirements since then. And this information was provided to all of the proposers at the time in which they proposed on the contract. So this was information that was had ahead of time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. That is correct. When you look back at the contract back in 2019, it was $1 million for the commercial general liability, which is now $2 million. The reason for that increase is it is based on our insurance broker's reassessment in coordination with our city attorney's office to look at our insurance requirements. And it was based on our brokerage and city attorney's office that worked with our risk manager who made that recommendation based on coverage. The other thing that city staff also did in relation to this outside of CHP is take a look at other agencies, and we took a look at 10 agencies to also see what they were doing, and that was also $2 million. And in some agencies, we noticed that the commercial general liability was even as high as $3 million.
All right.
Any other questions?
Yeah, didn't we break down that liability into two pieces?
In the RFP, it is broken out by commercial general liability and automobile liability. And so all of those requirements were clearly stated and as well as were labeled.
So you discussed unless I misheard what you said, you discussed the commercial general liability going from $1 million to $2 million, but are you saying the automobile liability, the each unit liability was $1 million in previous contracts, or is that an adjustment up?
Our previous contract stated, and I do have Maria Mandala Dunga with Dungan with me as well. She's our senior management analyst with our purchasing, and she can speak to those prior contracts as well.
Hi, good evening. Yes, the previous contracts in 2019, they were, the automobile liability insurance was at $1 million, and this is consistent from this existing RFP. Previously, when we issued the RFP, it was at $5 million, but after evaluation by the risk manager, he determined that the $1 million liability for auto was more appropriate. In addition, he added garage keeper, as well as unhook coverage. And initially, in the 2019 agreement, the garage keeper fell under the automobile liability, which is $1 million, but now it is at $250,000, I believe, $225,000. And the unhook coverage increased from $150,000 to $300,000.
And how does that compare with industry standards?
That is consistent with industry standards, as the Deputy City Manager mentioned. It is something that was recommended by the city's broker, as well as in coordination with the City Attorney's Office. And each agency is different depending on the geography and the population and the kind of activity that occurs within that jurisdiction.
So a highway patrol would have different risk assessment than an
Absolutely.
inner city or a city street.
That's what makes it curious to me, is because I know the highway patrol uses impound tow a lot more than a municipal police department.
Understood.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, one more question on it. The second question brought up was about the dividing line. Instead of being a rotational dispatch for tow service, I believe a dividing line is simpler, makes it easier for the tow operators to know exactly where they are. If they monitor police radio or if they get called, they'll know if it's on the west side of Sycamore that one company has to handle it, on the other side of Sycamore the other company has to handle it. That way nobody has to figure out whose turn it is.
I believe that's how it was done in the past.
It was.
Does the PD have any recommendations one way or the other on that, Chief?
Heather, can you address that,
Or
please?
Heather, sorry.
And yeah, I can address that. And Chief, if you want to come up, you're welcome to. But as a part of when we started this process, given that when we originally, this contract dates back to 2011 and then 2019, staff reevaluated with PD to ask, hey, how's it going? And part of that feedback was looking at realigning the model with best public safety practices, which are now adopted by CHP and also by the Sheriff's Office, which is a rotational model. The reason why PD had recommended that we make that change is to ensure operational flexibility while also maintaining that continuity of service. And that way, if there was an influx of calls in one area, we could continue to maintain faster response times and clear the strait for optimal public safety.
I think that's fine if history tells us that there has been an issue. So my question is, has there been an influx in certain areas where we have not been able to provide the service because it's on the other side of the line? I'm just trying to understand if there's a problem.
I was going to go to the same place. What's the problem we're trying to solve?
And the other thing is, even if there's a dividing line, right? Is there something that prohibits us from saying, oh, that group is too busy on this side, so this one group can just help for this, can go and help, as opposed to, just doing it on a case-by-case basis?
One clarity in comparison to 2019 versus today is back then you had more people who were a part of that contracted service. We had 3 contracts that were awarded in 2019. One of those service providers no longer is viable as a part of this new contract. And so now you're down to 2 service providers, and this response to make it more consistent on an all-call rotational basis was clearly stated in the RFP when both parties were entering into submitting their proposals, and it was clearly stated that this is something that was desired, and it was based on to allow our dispatchers to be able to dispatch that call simultaneously if we had back-to-back calls come in. And if there's any additional feedback that I missed?
I'm going to defer to the traffic sergeant who watches this on a daily basis.
No, I think all that information is accurate. I think obviously, if there's 2 calls on one side of the town or multiple calls that require tows, having the ability to call one tow company for one incident and then at the same time reach out to the second tow company for the second simultaneous incident, obviously we're going to get the roadways clear and the cars moved a lot quicker than one company doing both incidents at the same time. And all these tow companies also offer numerous other services to other areas, AAA, other cities, the freeway to CHP, so they could be tied up on multiple other things at the same time. So,
If they were tied up, we would call the other company, correct?
if they tell us they cannot get there, the way the contract is now, they have to let us know they cannot make it and cannot show up. But that's between whoever's taking the phone call from the tow company and whether they decide to give us that information. Other than that, we're just there waiting.
And that's been an issue in the past?
There hasn't been many times that they've told us they're not available, no.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster?
Just to understand the process, I appreciate it. The call who makes the determination whose turn it is? Is it the 911 caller? Is it dispatch decides it's your, and so they just oscillate back and forth? Is that the way it works?
Correct, and that's consistent with also how Sheriff's Office and CHP currently dispatches tow calls.
Got it. And so that's practiced elsewhere then, and with success.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, concerns? Councilmember Ayala?
I just would like the gentleman who owns I'm sorry, we've never met. So just explain to us what your concern is or why you would want it the other way. Just in very plain language, just let us know.
Okay, I can do that. So when I started towing here, I was taking everything over to Thousand Oaks, and since then I initiated a place in Simi Valley. And since I'm on that side, I've got the building on that side. I passed up a lot of stuff over on that side to be over on this side. That cuts down my response time to be on one side is one thing. It would be so say in short term, if I had 2 trucks that are covering, I would have 4 trucks, because if I have 2 trucks that go all the way across town, I would need 2 trucks on this side in order to meet the 20-minute response time. Then the other thing is that on a rotation, a lot of things that happen is that say, you know, when you're rotating calls, I'm not sure which car I'm going to get. So it's up to the officer to decide if one company is always getting the junk car without the insurance, or vice versa. And so it becomes very confusing. And then it's confusing on which company's coming out, and is that company coming out simultaneously because it's closer or something. So it's really confusing. When I'm responsible for one side, I know that, you know, I can monitor everything, and when a call comes down, I know I'm ready, because I can see it on Pulse Point, I can see it on the website that you got a vehicle crash. I know I'm responsible for that call, so I'm ready and willing to go.
And then, in just your experience, right? How many, just anecdotally, the word, how many times have you had to say, I can't do it?
In the heavy line, it has come up before, only because you might have heavy trucks on something that takes longer, but I've got 30 trucks, so I've got 4 heavies, so I don't have that problem anymore. And I'm more than willing to, you know, work over on the other side if I have to, and I've done that in the past. I've covered the other end with you know, no questions asked, no problem. I also would like to point out that when you're calling other companies in to help, if that's what you need, that the insurance regulations on the other companies, they're not carrying over 750. Nobody in Ventura County is covering over 750 because CHP doesn't require it. So I want to point that out. So if somebody does get in trouble and you're trying to sub out another towing company and you're bringing in other towing companies, they're going to be underinsured. And there's no way for you to regulate it.
Mayor Pro Tem, are you?
Thank you for sharing. And this is actually a question more for maybe city manager, maybe for our attorney. Obviously, a request for proposal went out with certain qualifications, and we had a certain number of applicants, 2 that were selected.
We had 2 proposers.
2 proposers who
2 were selected.
got it. Okay, and that was based on the way the RFP was written. Obviously, the other party is not here to discuss this with. I guess my question is, legally, because they signed the contract as written or provided as written, at this point, can we change? What is the process if there was a desire to change? Does it have to go back to the very beginning, to RFP, to a new RFP?
And I'll defer that to the city attorney.
Yes, that's correct. So because that's such a material change in the process that is required, you know, whatever towing company that wanted to submit a proposal was able to look at the desire of the city. I will say that, you know, I work with a lot of different agencies, and this rotational process is very common in other agencies. I can't speak exactly to every detail of what PD is needing and why they worked with, you know, the deputy city manager and wanting to ask for this specific rotation process. But if council is wanting to look at an alternative, it would require a whole RFP again and going out and conducting that process.
Councilmember Rhodes.
Yeah, and this is more of a theoretical, Mr. Conti. If you had the opportunity to bid this and it stated that it was not going to be rotational but a dividing line, would that have changed your dollar amount bid on the service?
Well, I went off the same dollar amount that I was on before with CHP rates, so I left that at the same.
Okay, so this is a service inconvenience, and potential cost burden for you, but we did have it in the RFP.
Yes.
Okay.
Questions, comments?
And just as for clarification, related to the RFP process, since we're asking process questions, when our proposers submit their application for this, they do sign an acknowledgement form, and that was submitted on March 5th. And in that, it states those requirements.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster?
Understand why this would be difficult to go back and redo. I guess my question is, if there was a gentleman's agreement between the two towing companies that, you know, we kind of like this territorial thing, can they come together back to the city and ask for a renegotiation or direct staff to, I mean, is that even possible? I'm just wondering.
I don't know if contracts have been signed.
What I would say is that if this is something that staff or that the council wants staff to look into, we can do that. But the proposers do not determine what the terms are for the city when we request proposals. The city determines what those requirements are. And staff worked with the police department, they worked with the insurance broker, they worked with the risk manager to set these requirements that they determined to be in the best interest of the city and the residents and the police department. So certainly we can push this item if staff or if the council would like us to go back. But Stephanie?
Sorry, if I may add, you might also go out for RFP and not have just two proposers a second time. You might end up having other agencies that also submit proposals. And so the idea that it might work between two towing companies might change just by going out for RFP again. So that's just something to consider.
This may not be popular with Mr. Khan, but I'm sorry. But I work on RFPs for work, and you put a lot of work into them and determine what it is that you want to be, how you want it to be handled, what you're willing to price things at, what your requirements are. And then those that come in and apply for it, they're agreeing to those terms. So unfortunately, I just feel that it's a little too late to make the changes, in my personal opinion, because we don't know that the other towing company who is agreeing to this proposal wants to change things. So I'm looking at it from a legal point of view. So, but other comments?
Yeah, it sounds, I get it too. I think, I mean, this is a long contract, right? It's 5 years. And because what I was going to say is, if it was a shorter contract, we could look at it and say, hey, did the new plan work? If it didn't, we can adjust, but.
Well, and I did talk to staff about that today. What we will be doing is evaluating after about like a quarter or so, just to make sure that it is working as planned. If there are issues with that, we can reevaluate it, because certainly the goal is to ensure that it is fair. There is, no intention of ensuring one side gets more business than the other. We value both of the tow contractors that we've worked with for years. So, but I did ask staff that we ensure that we're doing that and we're doing an audit to ensure that it is working as planned.
Yeah, that sounds fair, because otherwise we're waiting for, till 2031 to make a change if it's not working. But I think we have to go with it, because that's what was in the proposal. And then, like city manager was saying, let's monitor it and make sure it's working for everyone. And if not, then we look at changing it.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. Hang on a second.
Councilmember Judge, thank you.
Ord, going with both of them, right? You got to read both? Or you just read one or two?
Just move consent item.
All right. Move consent item number 3.
Number 5.
5.
That's right. Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you. Call for the vote.
The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Khan.
Madam Mayor and members of the City Council, next on the agenda is item 9A, to authorize staff to prepare and issue a request for proposal to solicit qualified consultants to assist in the creation of an arts and culture master plan, and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement in a form approved by the city attorney with the selected consultant in an amount not to exceed $150,000. And Deputy Community Services Director Anna Medina is here to present this item.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Kavanaugh and members of the City Council. The city's Arts Commission has long recognized the important role that arts and culture play in strengthening community identity, supporting economic vitality, and enhancing quality of life. In October 2024, the Arts Commission requested that staff develop a scope of work for an arts and culture master plan. Although the council discussed this initiative during the fiscal year 25-26 budget process, funding was not allocated at that time. Staff has since reviewed current expenditures and revenue projections and identified available funds that can now support this effort. The proposed Arts and Culture Master Plan will serve as a strategic framework to guide the city's investment in arts and culture over the next 5 to 10 years. It will establish a shared vision along with clear goals and actionable strategies to foster a vibrant, sustainable, and inclusive cultural environment. A key component of the plan will be robust community engagement. The selected consultant will conduct outreach with residents, artists, businesses, and community organizations to ensure broad input. The plan will also include an assessment of existing cultural assets, recommendations for public art and programming, exploration of potential cultural facilities, and identification of funding and partnership opportunities. To move forward, staff recommends issuing a request for proposals to select a qualified consultant. If approved, the RFP will be released before the end of May 2026, with work beginning in fall 2026 and final plan adoption anticipated in fall of 2027. Staff further recommends authorizing an agreement not to exceed $150,000 for completion of the plan. This concludes the report, and staff is available to answer any questions at this time.
Anyone have any questions of staff? Councilmember Rhodes?
I got my button pushed first.
It's all right.
I couldn't be more excited that this is brought back before us. I was disappointed it didn't get into the budget, and many people think the arts are ethereal and that they don't add a direct financial value to a city. This arts master plan is exactly what a city needs in order to, one, take inventory of what we already have, and then two, create senses of place. If we want the Envision See Me plan to come to fruition, part of that plan, part of what makes it appealing to people who want to come and invest is the potential for community art and things to give it a sense of place. And if you want any shining example of that very close to us, go to Moore Parks High Street and see the installed artworks that are there that make you go, wow, this is a cool place to hang out. And guess what? I want to put my businesses there, and I want to go shop there, and I want to go dine there. And so to get this plan on the books, I think is great. If we can spend less than $150 to do it because we have other people we can copy from, great, but we do need input from our citizens and our artists as well. So congratulations on dogging this thing and getting it back onto our agenda and into the books.
Mayor Pro Tem Litster.
Thank you. Well said, Councilmember Rhodes. Actually, I want to speak to the efforts of the Cultural Arts Commission. That even at the recent street fair Saturday, we met as a commission. There was such excitement to try to get to understand what the community wants and needs that others on our committee basically, and thank you for helping to make that happen, Anna, but basically had a booth. And I went by that booth, and they had a big chart, and people could put stickers on what kind of engagement they wanted. Did they want more visual art? Did they want more cultural experiences? And so I'm looking forward to them reporting, but it was clear that that many people were engaged in being part of that discussion. And so I hope that the commission can also be part of that. And so that kind of leads to my question. This is exciting that this is being discussed and can happen. How do we select who that vendor is going to be? What's the criteria? I assume it's not just a function of cost. Do we know how that, who and how that will be selected? Right, well, then I guess what I'm asking is what's going to be in that RFP, I guess specifically is what.
The RFP has been developed and is in review right now. So there are several things that will be in there to determine who the best consultant will be. So.
Okay, I appreciate that. Maybe it's the selfishness, want to be part of looking at that, want to peek at that and be part of the selection. Maybe that's really what's going on here. So I would vote for the commission to be able to look at that RFPs, but I'll leave that to the discussion. And I guess as you read through the list, it is long and varied, all the things that they could do. Can you explain time frame, process, what you envision, how long? I mean, when would we as a council maybe get, once someone's been selected? How much time is going to be taken, for instance? Is that also in the RFP? Am I asking premature questions?
Yes, there's definite timeframes for everything. So the RFP will be released by the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're hoping that the consultant will begin in the fall of 2026. They have a lot of work ahead of them, especially with the community involvement. So we're anticipating adoption of the plan in the fall of 2027.
Very good.
27?
Yes. The final plan will be adopted in 2027.
And when we originally brought this up and we were modeling after the Moore Park Master Arts Plan, their process was about a year to get that all together, so that makes sense.
And I might add as a commission, just to add to what you're saying, my memory is that we had the Cultural Arts Center had a 5-year master plan of what it wanted to do, and we realized as a commission that they were doing wonderful things there, but the culture and the arts in our whole city was so deserving of study and attention, and so this is the big picture, is what this is all about. So thank you, Anna.
And I just want to add that the RFP is going to be scored by staff. It won't just be driven by cost. So.
Excellent.
I'd be happy to make the motion.
Would you please? Thank you.
I move to authorize staff to prepare and issue an RFP to solicit qualified consultants to assist in the creation of an arts and culture master plan, and authorize the city manager or her designee to execute an agreement in a form approved by the city attorney with the selected consultant in an amount not to exceed $150,000.
Second.
Call for the vote, please.
The motion passes unanimously. Madam Mayor and members of City Council, next on the agenda is item 10A, City Council Member Reports.
Councilmember Ayala, you are up first.
Thank you. Should I wait for her to come back? No. On Wednesday, the 22nd, I attended the reopening, I should say, of PC's Bar and Grill. And so it's under new ownership. I always passed it. I thought it was just a bar. And so I now know that it's actually a family place too. They're open for lunch and dinner, so you can go there with your whole family. It's not just a 21 and over place, so go and enjoy. On Thursday, the 23rd, I attended the ADA Paratransit Committee meeting. one thing that they were mentioning is that the on-demand service that we started has been really successful. And so be on the lookout. They're going to be doing a town hall soon, later this month, I believe, to ask for input on how to even expand the program, like what areas we need to go into. So the community, if you want to look out for that and have input on how to expand, make sure you join us at that town hall. On the same day, I attended the 4th of July Planning Committee meeting. The website is seeme250.com. It is live. And one of the things that, as a community, that we're looking for is from July 1 through 5 is a $2.50 and signature specials, which means if you are a business owner and you have something to offer and you can say there's a something special on your menu for $2.50 for those 4 days, then if you go to seeme250.com, you can register your business, and what we will have is basically free advertising put out there that says, here's all of the businesses in Simi that are participating for this 4th of July event. And you will get a sign in your window so everyone driving around town knows that you are the one participating, and you will get more business for that time and hopefully even into the future. So if any business is interested, please go to seeme250.com and register your interest there. And then in the evening on the 23rd, I attended the Ventura County Fire Department annual awards ceremony at the Reagan Library, along with Councilmember Judge, and also our chief was there. I just wanted to quickly point out that even though it was countywide, the Volunteer of the Year, Victor Andazola, was actually is a Simi Valley resident, and so he was recognized, even though countywide. The Emergency Services Bureau was our Battalion 4 Fire Engineer, Logan Hirschman of the year, which is great. The Engine Company of the Year was our Medic Engine 43. So we had a lot of recognition from Simi Valley. And one thing I really wanted to point out, they gave a life-saving award medal to a group of people. And this was the fire department recognition. But Officer Shane Johnson from our police department was also recognized as being part of that team to help out in a specific incident. So I also wanted to just recognize him as well. So it wasn't just the fire that was recognized, it was also the supporting agency, in this case, our own officer. On Friday the 24th, I just wanted to point out this. I normally don't talk that I'm part of the cohort for Leadership Simi Valley this time, but a big thing we did, our project was renovating the teen center at the Boys and Girls Club. And so on Friday the 24th, that was our day to start doing that renovation. So hopefully some of you will be able to go to the ribbon cutting, which we're going to have later this month. On Tuesday, the 28th, I attended the Critical Infrastructure Workshop hosted by Southern California Edison. Just a couple of things. Of course, they're using a lot more AI and machine learning to do predictions. And they have modeled that last summer, I should say, we had 15 heat wave days. This summer, we will jump to 30, so it will double. And so just a reminder, our cooling centers are the library and the senior center, so as we get it ready for a hot summer. And then I actually don't have anything more, because then on Wednesday morning, I left to Italy. And I just got back last night. I flew all day yesterday. You wouldn't even know it, that I got back at 9:30 p.m., left about 3:30 a.m. our time, got back at 9:30 p.m., and I woke up at 5:30 this morning and have been working ever since. And here I am, happy as can be. So
just don't stop.
Yeah. And so I was there to officiate my nephew's wedding. He got married in Italy, so I had to go. So I know I missed a lot while I was out, but I couldn't say no to his request. And that is the end of my report.
Family is important. So, Councilmember Rhodes.
Yeah, family always gets in the way of doing public good. So on Tuesday, April 21st, I traveled up to Sacramento a day early, and I met with the city's lobbying company, Gonzalez, and discussed some bills that were progressing through legislature. And then Wednesday through Friday, I attended the Cal Cities event where it was a combination of seminars and opportunities to meet with legislators, but then to also go and stand in committee. And what's interesting for the people that work up in Sacramento, they see the lobbyists every day that are representing us, the city, and other groups. When they actually get an elected from a city there, everybody goes, wait, who? Who was that? And so I got to speak in opposition to a couple of housing bills that would have forced more by right building in our cities. On Sunday, April 26th, Mike, I did not attend the John's Tea Party, and I apologize greatly for that. It was on my calendar to do it, and I missed it. And you know when you get the calendar alert that says, you're supposed to be there right now. I'm like, okay. So I apologize, Mike. I hope it was an outstanding event. So, on Monday, April 27th, I met with staff to discuss short-term rentals. On Tuesday, April 28th, I attended the Conejo Valley Chamber of Commerce Legislative Roundtable, a Zoom call, and it was interesting to see what other people are concentrating on, which is an awful lot like what we're concentrating on, but I was representing my role on SCAG on that call. On Thursday, April 30th, I attended, nope, sorry, did not do that. Friday, May 1st, I also didn't do that. What was that? There was a breakfast in there, but I don't see it on my calendar. I attended the Conejo Valley Mayor's Roundtable Breakfast where the mayors of Agoura Hills, Westlake, and Thousand Oaks all spoke and took questions about their respective cities. And it was very interesting to see the problems that big cities have and small cities have. And I very quickly added up the population of Agoura Hills and the population of Westlake, and those two combined equal the size of District 4 in Simi Valley. So on Saturday, May 2nd, I attended Street Fair, as most of us did, and it was great actually shaking hands and meeting people and discussing policy, and a special shout out to Mayor Pro Tem Litster, who bought me a sandwich because I couldn't leave the booth, and I appreciate that very much. And then that night, and Saturday's not over yet, that night I attended the Boys and Girls Club auction and gala, Havana Nights, up at the Reagan, and once again, they killed it. They did a great job, and I ended up spending a whole bunch of money on things I probably didn't really need, but it's for the kids. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Councilmember Judge.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On Tuesday, April 21st, I attended the grand opening of a new location of the Premier America Credit Union over on Erringer Road. For people that lived here a long time, it's where the old Alamo Video used to be. So that place is finally getting some use, and it was a great-looking location, and I'm happy to have now 3. They have now 3 locations in our city. On Wednesday, April 22nd, I attended the grand opening of PC's Bar and Grill, the reopening. And you're right, it is a place where you can go and eat, not just drink, and it looks very nice. They've done great work over there. On Thursday, April 23rd, I attended the VCFD 29th Annual Awards Ceremony, and that's already been spoken of by Councilmember Ayala very well. But I did want to point out something, that we have a new representative of the Fire District here with us tonight. I don't think he's been introduced.
He's covering for Dan Horton. He's not our new representative, but we can definitely
Yeah.
introduce him
I was
if
going
you
to say,
would like.
because Dan said he still was going to be at a couple of meetings.
I was going to say,
But I'm like, that's not Dan.
didn't he get promoted? Didn't he get promoted?
Yeah.
He did, yes.
But he said he'd still be at a couple. Would you
Yeah.
like to come up and introduce yourself?
Yes.
Come
Yeah.
on, sure. Welcome to Simi Valley.
Thank you. Yeah, my name's Matt Fallett. I'm a battalion chief currently with County Fire, and I grew up in the city of Simi Valley.
Oh, perfect.
It was Simi High School, so
Oh, sorry.
I apologize if any of you are royal people, but yeah, over on the East End. So spent a lot of time out here as a captain and a battalion chief officer, and Chief Horton asked me to stand in just for the evening. He is going through a lot right now with his recent promotion. So yeah, excited to be here.
Oh, great. Thank you
I
for
can
being here.
absolutely speak to anything that may come up with the fire department. Or thank you very much for the gracious statements about the award ceremony. We're obviously very proud of everyone that attended and received awards, both civilian and sworn. So, but thank you for that.
It's very great. Captain Jenna Merrill, I'm
Yes.
friends with her since she was a little girl. So it was
Yeah.
nice to see her recognized.
Big fan of Captain Merrill. She's been instrumental in a lot of movement within the department and pushing out new initiatives and everything. So she's doing amazing work over there.
Yeah, well, the entire department is. So we're appreciative of everything you guys do. And my son-in-law, Santa Barbara County, said, don't tell him I said that. That Ventura is so good.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Continuing on Sunday, April 26th, I couldn't attend. Also, I couldn't attend the Jonas Tea Party, but my wife did. So there you go. I got somebody to go. On April 27th, I attended the Lou Roth Awards at our Strathern Historical Park, and congratulations to all those recipients. Very well deserved. On May 1st, I attended the meeting for Ventura County Transportation Committee, and I'm going to tell you guys we're going to have a pop-up event here in Simi Valley, basically trying to reconfigure the intersection of Sycamore and Cochrane to make it more pedestrian and bicycle friendly, and I'm sure staff is hard at work with the staff from VCTC on coordinating that. I think the date is sometime in June, right? Have they said something about that?
It's later this month.
Oh, later this month, okay. So that should be an interesting event. Other than that, VCTC didn't have too much to cover Simi Valley-wise. We're still fighting to get that Sespe Creek Bridge rebuilt. Moving on to, where am I at? There it is. And on Saturday, May 2nd, I attended the street fair all day. Talked way more than I ever should. It was a great day, though. It was a very positive day. The street fair was packed. It looks like everybody was having a great time. Everybody was selling their stuff and making lots of money. I loved it. And later that evening, I too attended the Boys and Girls Club Gala over at the Reagan Library and had a great time. And that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Mayor Pro Tem Litster.
Thank you. It looks like we've all done some great things the last couple weeks. I'll start with April 21st. I too attended the Premier America ribbon cutting, although I probably shouldn't say so because I was out there talking in the parking lot thinking it started 15 minutes later than it did. But ribbon was presented. Actually, was visiting with some of the different staff with Premier America, and I came away with the understanding that they very much want to give back to our community and are happy to speak with those who are looking to make things happen, and particularly in the arts, which I thought was great. Wednesday, April the 22nd, attended the Chamber Legislative Meeting and appreciated our Deputy City Manager Sumigaisai's coverage, Heather Sumigaisai's coverage and comments at that meeting. Well done. And also attended PC's Bar and Grill grand reopening, and I concur with Councilmember Judge. It's really beautiful inside what they've done with that place, and wish them the best. I then, I confess, I had to go visit my sister, and so left town. Just the fact that she lives in Hawaii just happened to be part of it, but it didn't mean I missed some of it. You were in Italy, I had a few days. But I did fly, for those of you who missed Jonas Tea Party, I want you to know that I took a red-eye Saturday night back, so I could be back Sunday morning, so I could attend Jonas Tea Party. I just, for the record.
Show off.
So I did.
I was there too, by the way. I forgot to mention.
Actually,
and I covered your table for you.
It is a wonderful fundraising effort done by our Rotary Evening Club, and in honor of raising funds for cancer research and other great, meaningful things. And so I commend all those that donated, put so much into that great event. Later that evening, I actually met with a gentleman who was stepping off of neighborhood council too, and what was so delightful about the conversation was he was chatting with me about where can I serve next in our community, and I thought that was lovely, that's where his heart was, and he appreciated his time serving on the neighborhood council. On Monday, April the 27th, I also attended the Lou Roth Awards and was part of that on the Ed Foundation. It is wonderful who they recognized and some outstanding people. Tuesday, April the 28th, Mayor Kavanaugh and City Manager and I had the opportunity to attend the County Board of Supervisors meeting and to discuss the item that was placed on the agenda by Supervisor Janice Parvin, which we very much appreciate, which would allow for a conversation about the possible transfer of the library to, from county ownership to city ownership. And I will tell you that we were well represented. They were very eloquent people that spoke. It was a unanimous decision to go forward with that. So to go forward with the conversation, I should say. I want to be very clear. And so I appreciate that City Manager Argerbright is making that happen. And I'm sure there'll be some very, very important conversations happening if they haven't already started. So next week. So very good. So thank you for, it was an honor to be a part of that. Also on, I'm sorry, let me take you to Thursday, April the 30th. Appreciated having the meeting with our council, with the City Manager Argerbright, and then also then being part of the tri-agency meeting where there were 2 representatives from each of the 3 agencies, parks, schools, and the city got together. And I will say I've met with them previously one time. It's been a few years. This one, I think, was a meeting where truly it was a discussion of issues that we all share and want to tackle together. It was not, as I think I referenced, show and tell, but it was actually show and do. And it was a good discussion. There were so many things on the agenda, we didn't get to all of them, but I will say that some of the items that we touched on were how to jointly maybe even better market our city for all of its beautiful features that it has. We also certainly discussed the e-bike issue and how to tackle it with immediacy, even though the school year is winding down. Appreciated the school board's willingness to do what they can there as well. We discussed a little bit of the Samaritan Center and their desires for transitional housing. There was also discussed by the parks about the community field use and how they see that the need is starting to far outstrip the availability, and so discussions about how to address that. After that, I had the opportunity to visit with those darling 8th graders who were here to talk about, and I appreciate their initiative to go wherever they possibly can to get the message out, and this was one of the places they were willing to come and present, so I thought that was lovely. On Friday, May the 1st, I also attended the Simi Valley Ed Foundation's Teacher of the Month, where we presented Santa Susana High School's Dylan Shapiro with the May Teacher of the Month. What I think is delightful about that award is it comes about through recommendations from staff, colleagues, students, teachers, et cetera, students, parents. What was lovely is that this was for Dylan, who's really only taught in the school district for 3 years, but he's head of the English department and is just doing great things over there. And it was a parent who had to commend him initially for his great work. And so a young teacher receiving that award. And finally, yes, I was, not finally, May 2nd, yes, I was at the street fair. I was there actually working in the Ed Foundation booth, but it was fun to walk and see all of the variety of people represented there. And I want to commend our police for their efforts, the informative booth about e-bikes, et cetera, that was there. And I had some questions answered there and appreciated, as I mentioned, the cultural arts booth that was there. And I know that we do a really big thing in the fall, but it was clearly we were there represented as well, and lots of good conversations with many people. And then finally, yesterday, I attended the Polyphonics Choir. They are a new professional choir in our community. But what's lovely is they do choirs to raise funds for worthy causes. And so their concert yesterday held at the Simi Valley United Methodist Church was specifically to raise funds for Tiny Treasures and their new expansion that they're going to be expanding for the second time. And of course, they support the efforts of Sarah's House and other meaningful places. And they even invited the Los Robles Children's Choir to join them. It was just a lovely concert, and delighted that things of that caliber are happening here in our city. And so that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. On April 21st, I also attended the grand opening of the Premier America's new location on Erringer. It is a great location. Glad to see something go into that center. It was fun being a banker to see how different they're doing it. It's a very modernized, very clean, very pretty. Was able to speak to their CEO and see what they were doing and what they want to do and how they want to be involved in our community. They made a donation. Who was it to? I don't remember who. Do you remember who the donation was to? Oh, it was to the Police Foundation. Lee Seaton accepted it. So right then and there, they made a nice donation to the Police Foundation. So that was good. That they'll be a good neighbor for that area. On Wednesday, April 22nd, I also attended the Public Safety Forum hosted by Supervisor Janice Parvin. Great event. Our own city manager participated in that, as well as our police chief. It was a great event, well attended. I think it got a lot of good information there. It was nice. We also allowed Moore Park city manager and their chief to attend. Just joking, Nick, sorry. On Thursday, April 23rd, unfortunately, I missed the Firefighters Awards night due to a prior commitment with Rotary. It was our annual Paul Harris night, so I had attended that. On Saturday, April 25th, the spring crawl, was it Saturday or Sunday? Do you know what it was? It was Sunday, the 26th. It was held at Rancho Santa Susana Community Center instead of going from space to space. And the reason I'm complimenting it is because there were a lot of SEMI vendors, but then there are also vendors from out of the area. But one of the ones I stopped at was our newest bakery cart up at the mall. Is it Shotzi's? I think it's Shotzi's. They have a pink cart in the center court. Banana pudding, to die for. And the raspberry-filled donuts. They were awesome. So I'm going to have to make sure I make a trip up to the cart. It was very, very good. They're hoping to eventually have a storefront here in Simi. They do have one somewhere in the valley. I don't remember where. But they really want to get one going here in Simi. And if the rest of their food was as good as what I had, they'll make it really quick. On Monday, April 27th, I also met with a city manager regarding STR survey. And then I also attended that evening the Lou Roth Awards for the Simi Valley Education Foundation. Great event, sold out event. I was especially glad to be there because one of my high school friends was the award winner for the special education classification. So it was very nice to see Terry recognized for that. On April 28th, again, we attended the County Board of Supervisors meeting, and we asked the county to consider the transfer of the building to Simi Valley. We don't own the building, but we've been maintaining it for since 2012, I think. So we put a lot of money into it, and we don't own it. So we originally donated that land to the county to build the library. So now we're just asking them to donate it back. So we'll see how that goes. But we're fingers crossed, because if we own the money, then our library foundation is able to get more donations for us to be able to improve it and update it. And that's really what we want to do. So hopefully our county is going to agree with us on that. On Thursday, April 30th, I also attended the tri-agency meeting. That was a great event. I think we had a good focus and good movement, and we know where we're going from there. On Friday, May 1st, I was invited to attend the Casa Pacifica dinner, which was held at Rancho de los Palmas, right there on Sunset in Moore Park. I had the pleasure of sitting with the owners of Rancho de los Palmas, who might also be new landowners here in Simi Valley if escrow closed. I don't know if it closed today. I don't know if it's closed today, but that was very exciting to meet them. They are great people. They're very civic-minded and very much, what can we do for your city? I was talking to him about Seroptimus Little Black Dress event, and he's like, "Ooh, let me know more once things get closer." So they're very good people, and they will be a very big asset to Simi Valley. They're currently Moore Park residents, and so we're going to kind of pull them a little bit this way too. And then on Saturday, May 2nd, I also attended the Simi Valley Street Fair. I walked around, met and talked with people, had a lot of fun. I actually was on the radio for the first time. I've never been on the radio. We're on TV here, but I've never been on the actual radio. So Kathy Van Etten, the CEO of the chamber, and I got on there with Brad, and it was a lot of fun. So I don't mind doing that again. That was enjoyable. And then I think that's it. Oh, as a grandma, my grandsons had a baseball game and they each hit 2 pitches off the pitcher. So sorry, I just had to get that out there. They were very proud of that. They're 4 and a 6, so it was a very big deal. SEMA Youth Baseball does a great job. So that's the end of my comments. Do we have any items for 10B? Any ideas for future agenda items? No? All right, thank you. At this time, we would like to adjourn the meeting, and we're going to adjourn in memory of Reese Beck. He is the 13-year-old young gentleman that died tragically in the train accident, and our prayers, thoughts, and best wishes go out to his family, the SEMA Youth Baseball League, all the students that they went to school with, and the entire community. So with that, we're adjourned.